WCBI News at 10 starts now.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Scott Martin. The Calhoun County Sheriff's Office says more bones have been found near where a skull was found before. You may remember back in May, a human skull was discovered in the county. Sheriff Greg Paulin says today more bone fragments were located near the area where that skull was found. Well, the fragments have been sent off for testing before it can be determined if they're connected to the skull. A judge has ordered the release of a Clay County man jailed for 12 years without a trial. Stephen Jesse Harris was arrested for the 2005 shooting death of his father, but his case was delayed until his mental competency could be evaluated. Well, that finally happened in 2016, and Harris was found incompetent to stand trial. The ruling also stated Harris should be sent to a long-term state mental health facility, but there are no beds available. So Harris will go free since the requirement of the court order can't be met. Well, this doesn't mean his charges are not dismissed. Harris can be tried if he's found competent in the future. A Yapora woman is now in a state prison following her guilty plea to child abuse charges. 42-year-old Wendy Fountain was transferred to the Central Mississippi Correctional Facility last week to serve her prison term. Fountain was sentenced to 8 years for nearly starving her son to death. Deputies rescued the child from an apartment in Yapora in January of 2016. 30-year-old Heather Fountain, also charged in the case, pleaded guilty to felony child neglect and received a 5-year suspended sentence. A third person in the case had his charges reduced to a misdemeanor. What a difference 2 weeks makes. On the heels of a massive contraband seizure at the Alcorn County Regional Jail on Tuesday, a shakedown in the Chickasaw County comes up relatively empty. Mississippi Department of Corrections, officials there say they searched the Chickasaw County Regional Jail today and only found 4 cell phones, a small bag of tobacco, some suspected marijuana, and $2.12. Commissioner Felicia Hall says the jail staff is to be commended for keeping outside items from the 310 inmate facility. Well, the suspect accused of forcing his way into a home in Lowndes County last week and shooting a man is caught in Tennessee. Investigators traveled to Murfreesboro, Tennessee Monday after getting information on 21-year-old Tommy DeLoach. He was arrested and charged with 2 counts of aggravated assault, possession of a stolen weapon, and armed robbery. Investigators believe DeLoach burst into a mobile home on Tabernacle Road just before midnight Wednesday, shooting one person. Well, that person is in stable condition. Deputies say 2 other victims were assaulted and are expected to recover. Investigators believe the victims were targeted, but they're unsure why. DeLoach is still in custody in Tennessee, awaiting extradition back to Lowndes County. More arrests are expected in the case. Well, time now for a first look at our forecast with Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson. Keith, a pretty nice night this evening.
Yeah, indeed, Scott. All quiet here with our live Doppler radar. We had some storms yesterday evening, but not so much this evening. The stuff we did have in our region today has gone by the wayside, so no major problems out there. A live look into Tupelo right now. It is quiet, it is warm, it is sticky, 82 degrees still. The dew point at 74. It's going to be a warm and sticky night. And we range from the mid-70s to the low and mid-80s across our region right now. Still, at this late hour tomorrow, you will need to find a pool. Warm and humid, the heat index up to 105. The actual air temperatures here, mid-90s. Yet again, we know the drill. The full forecast is coming up.
The field is set for the special Aberdeen Alderman's race. 4 people are in the running to take the place of Lady B. Garth, who retired from Ward 2 post in June. Her son, Cloyd Garth Jr., along with Terry Morgan, Curly Payne, and Doug Stone, all beat today's 5 o'clock deadline to qualify for the race. That election will be held August 15th. Oktibbeha County volunteer fire departments are finding the cost for keeping residents safe is going up, but the money available to do the job is going down. Some state funding has been extinguished due to budget cuts, and as our Jory Talley tells us, that leaves firefighters looking closer to home for help to get the job done.
Firefighters in Oktibbeha County aren't only battling blazes, but battling budgets. Oktibbeha County Fire Services Coordinator Kirk Rosenhan says these are the biggest hurdles.
Funding, because my old comment about fires aren't put out with water, they're They're put out with dollars. Second of all is person power, because there are some areas of the county that at certain times of the day I simply don't have anybody. And the Rating Bureau requires a minimum number of people, certainly. And then thirdly is distance.
There's 7 volunteer fire departments and 14 fire stations in Oktibbeha County, covering a 500 square mile radius.
It's something we really got to watch, because each department has a allotment every year for the number of stations and such, and so each of them have their own budget, and then I have a budget for the large capital expenses and certain other expenditures.
And the money goes quick and straight towards equipment.
It can cost anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000 just to equip one firefighter, and that's just your personal equipment. That's not any tools or the trucks or the other specialized equipment we use.
Hoses, nozzles, and thermal imagers are just some of the other high-dollar gadgets firefighters need to fight fire and keep residents safe.
We just bought 2 sets of rescue tools, for cutting people out of cars. That's the normal everyday type thing, but the additional funding that we can get would upgrade the apparatus and allow us to expand some of these boundaries.
The better the tools, the better benefits for residents.
Which means lower insurance premiums for the homeowners. So we're always trying to improve our ratings so that we can provide the best service for the public.
For now, supervisors have tabled the matter.
Some high cirrus across our area today. You can see that with our Alpha Insurance time lapse from Durham's Pharmacy in Vernon, Alabama. Fairly tranquil this evening in Lamar County relative to the storms we had yesterday. Tomorrow around the region, we're hot, we're humid, mid-90s. Your full forecast is coming up next.
Your first alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson.
Here's a look at our Alpha Insurance time lapse from Columbus late this afternoon into the evening. You can see some of these high cirrus clouds coming off. Some storms that were rumbling to our southwest. A lot of the action to our southwest today. We did see some rain and some storms in our viewing area, but most spots did stay dry. We're not really anticipating a lot of rain on Wednesday. It's going to be a warm and humid one. 8 o'clock, 80 degrees, noon 91, 4 o'clock, 94. The heat index up to about 105 or 106. Wow, it's going to be a hot one out there, so you know the drill. Stay cool, stay hydrated, lightweight, light-colored clothing. Maybe you want to find one of those pools, a very refreshing way to be in the afternoon. There's our time lapse from Tupelo this evening. You can see some of those clouds going away too. And there's a live look at our Doppler radar here. Just some ground clutter showing back up. No rain, nothing like that in our area. But speaking of what we had earlier today, you can see this big force field effect we had going on across most of the area. We did see some showers and thunder showers around here, so consider yourself lucky if you did see a little bit of rain today. Most spots in our coverage area not seeing any rain. And you can see most of the stuff down here in the southeast right now going away after the sun goes down. That usually happens this time of year. The big-time storm is still ongoing after sunset up here across the high plains. That's associated with this cold front, this area of low pressure. That thing's coming our way for Friday, so our rain chances will start to go up later this week. Tomorrow, can't rule out a stray shower storm, 10% chance, that's it. Same story for Thursday, hot and humid the next 2 days, mid-90s, the heat index in the triple digits. Here comes the front, and it looks like we'll have the best chance of rain on Friday, maybe even in the Friday night, Saturday morning. And then we'll dry it out a little bit as we get into the weekend, maybe most of the weekend, if we can get that stuff out of here by Saturday morning. Now, there's that rain Friday. As we get into most of the weekend and early next week, this big area of high pressure comes on down from the Great Lakes, so a little bit cooler, a little bit drier here, and fairly quiet. Temperatures in the 70s and 80s, much cooler in the region if you've had some rain, or some folks have seen the rain. Mid-70s tonight, warm and sticky out there, mainly clear. And there are those mid-90s tomorrow. Wow, it's just going to be a hot one. Tupelo today, you hit 96. Tomorrow, the forecast is 95. We could actually be a little bit warmer than some of these numbers here. So let's just say at least mid-90s, a pretty good bet in a good chunk of the area Wednesday and Thursday. There's that rain chance Friday. Temperatures fall back into the 80s because of that threat of shower and thunderstorm activity Friday into Saturday. Drier air by the end of the weekend. Look at those overnight lows down into the 60s. We haven't seen that for a while, and it's going to feel pretty good. Scott.
An insurance company is working to get fresh, healthy food on more area tables. We find out how they've got healthier diets in the bag when we come back.
You're watching WCBI News at 10 with Scott Martin.
Mississippi continues to have one of the highest rates of adult and childhood obesity in the nation. Those statistics have prompted a healthcare company to encourage its members to make healthy choices. And as WCBI's Allie Martin reports, the insurance company provided fresh produce and vegetables during a statewide initiative.
Heather Keith made the trip from Pontotoc to Tupelo's Link Center for bags full of fresh vegetables, courtesy of United Healthcare's Farm to Fork program.
It helps families out too, especially these hard times, especially with families with low incomes and no jobs, so it helps a lot.
Keith is a member of United Healthcare Community Plan, administered by Mississippi Ken and Chip. The insurance company handed out more than 80 bags of fresh produce, including locally grown cabbage, sweet potatoes, carrots, bell peppers, and onions. Kobe Wells is supervisor of community outreach for United Healthcare, and he says the Farm to Fork initiative is a way to promote healthier lifestyles and more nutritious diets for its members.
You get to see and get a feel for what it feels like to have good fresh produce into their body, into the system, and then hopefully that jumpstarts them on eating healthy throughout the rest of the year, throughout the rest of their lives.
Healthier eating habits along with preventative doctor visits will also help drive down the cost of health care. That's another reason for the program.
It is a correlation. There is a link. Going to the doctor's office, it drives down the cost if you're taking care of your body.
And Heather Keith says she's trying to instill healthy habits in her children.
It's very important, and we try to show our oldest how important it is to eat, and portion-wise as well.
Farm to Fork will take place 2 more times through the summer here at the Link Center. There are 17 other distribution sites statewide as United Healthcare does what it can to encourage its members to take personal responsibility when it comes to developing and maintaining healthy habits. In Tupelo, I'm Allie Martin, WCBI News.
United Healthcare will sponsor a fitness fest on August 26th in Tupelo, and they'll have a turkey giveaway right before Thanksgiving. Well, the Bulldogs are back to work. Day 1 of fall camp in Starkville. More from Coach Mullen and the team next in sports.
WCBI Sports with Tom Emmel.
The Bulldogs are back on the grind. Mississippi State returns to the practice field 108 days since the spring game back in April. This time last year, Nick Fitzgerald was head first in a quarterback competition against 2 other guys looking to replace Dak Prescott. The Bulldogs are now Fitz's team, and number 7 will play a huge part if the Bulldogs are going to shake up the SEC. Head coach Dan Mullen wants to see if his starting quarterback can handle the pressure of being the face of the team.
This is his first time in this role that he's in now as the leadership, coming in, being a starter in camp. So, I want to see how he takes the reign in each stage. I expect his leadership to be much better this year than it was last year, and I've seen that from him. But I still think he's going through the learning curve of being the leader.
I'm not really a yeller. I'm not going to give a halftime speech, but I'm going to expect people to take care of their business. They expect me to take care of mine. I think I just need to be a little more vocal with it and a little better on patting people on the back.
This summer, man, he been out there throwing, working on his accuracy and stuff like that. So he gonna be a great quarterback, man. I promise you he is, man. I just thank God that I'm playing beside him. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna have a great season.
While the Bulldogs will depend on Fitzgerald making the leap, the junior redshirt will also need some help when he's not on the field. The Bulldogs were towards the bottom in almost every defensive category a year ago. So let's take a look. The Bulldogs passing defense, just plain bad. They ranked 120th out of 128. Run defense, leaky still, 70th in the nation. Getting off the field on third down, 79th. And in total yards, 110th out of 128 teams in Division I. So the Bulldogs made a change. Enter Todd Grantham. The Bulldogs expect to be a completely different unit in 2017.
I want to have an intimidating defense. You know, I want to have people, when they watch, there's 11 guys flying around, going to the ball with a little bit of chip on their shoulder and a nasty disposition and get after it. And I think when you're led by a guy that kind of is that way, your defense is going to play that way, and that's the type of defense that I want us to play.
We want to be hard to run on. We want to find ways to stop the run and force guys to be one-dimensional. And then really after that is how can we make the quarterback play bad?
It's finding your identity. You got to be fast, physical, and aggressive. Every day when you come out to practice, you got to have a chip on your shoulder. Every day when you come out, you got to do your best. You got to go hard every rep with relentless effort.
I think we're more closer this year, you know. As being a football team, you know, being a championship team, you had to be close and be one unit. So I feel like we came a long way. We worked hard this summer, everybody together.
To the High School Football Tour, Academy Week rolls along. We stay in District 2 AAA Division with Winston Academy, who look to put an end to missing out on November football. The Patriots are stop number 37 in our High School Football Tour.
WCBI 60 Schools in 60 Days is brought to you by Toyota, Let's Go Places, and Emerson Animal Hospital, where your pets are family in West Point.
The Patriots of Winston Academy are hungry to play late into the fall. Last season, the team finished below 500 and missed out on the postseason for a fifth straight year. The Patriots lose 9 seniors from a year ago, but return 10 starters, and this team looks to get back to winning ways in 2017.
I'm excited. I'm looking forward to this season. Last year we went 4-6 and didn't quite end up like we wanted to, but we're going to come back this year, and we got a good group of seniors coming in, and we're hoping to really have a good year this year.
It's my senior year. I'm ready to get it rolling. We have a lot of expectations going for us this year. We got a lot of seniors coming back, and the work ethic right now is going really well. I think everyone's really excited about what's going to go on.
Our big thing this year is, you know, we improved a little bit last year, and hopefully the seniors can take charge. You know, I'm going to kind of put the onus on them. You know, it's their last go-round, and I expect them to lead their team. I feel good about where we're at right now and where we're headed.
This year's senior class was in 7th grade the last time the Patriots patrolled the postseason.
I think the focus really starts, you know, this summer and getting your mind right, getting ready for the season. And then those non-conference games before we get to district, that'll really get us rolling. We're gonna go to the playoffs this year. We're going to go to the playoffs.
Our goal now is, you know, in the way this thing's set up, you can just about win one league game, and if you win your non-division games, you're going to get in the playoffs. And, you know, that's what we're shooting for.
We haven't made the playoffs since I've been here, and it's something that I think it'll help the school, honestly, because when you're playing good in sports, I think school goes better. Everybody's behind you, and we're trying to get everybody behind us.
The Patriots will open their season at Newton County Academy on August 18th. In Louisville, Jonathan Flippo, WCBI Sports.
Coming up next on the high school football tours, the Columbus Christian Rams. You can see our preview tomorrow at 6, 9, and 10 right here on WCBI Sports. And that does it for your sports. We'll last your forecast coming up next.
All right, pretty warm weather for Wednesday and Thursday. Mid-90s, the heat index up to about 105, so stay cool. Can't rule out a stray storm. The better chances will be Friday into Saturday morning, and then we'll dry it out. And don't forget, join Alex on Sunrise starting at 4:30 if you're up at that hour of the morning tomorrow.
Yeah, well, I won't be.
No, we'll be sleeping.
I won't be.
If we're up, there's a problem.
Exactly. Thanks, Keith. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you back here tomorrow.